I had tried to do this morning, but I just couldn't wake up enough to do it. But this is your 11-3 day part one homework. So it's broken into two parts for you. Second part, probably a little more important than the first part, to be honest with you. All right. So we're supposed to find the mean, standard deviation, median, and mode of this thing, and the 5 number summary, and what's called the interquartile range, which I probably need to make sure I address in your notes when I talk about your notes. But anywho, uh, some of this stuff, we can figure that out pretty easy by hand, right? Like a maximum, that's 14. The minimum is 3. And we could go old school and we could do some of this stuff if we wanted to. Like it's not a problem. But let's go over some notation here. The mean is called the x bar. Standard deviation is sigma of x for a population. That's population standard deviation. Median's the number in the middle. Mode is the number that occurs most often. And I actually feel like being a little old school on this one. Then we'll check with the calculator here. But let's put everything out in order. We have a 3. We have, looks like a 5 and then a 5. I have a 6. I have 2 9s. What else we got here? Oh, I skipped the 7. Can't skip 7. We have a 7 and then 2 9s. We also have an 8, don't we? I never liked doing it the old-fashioned way, just for that reason. We have 2 8s and 2 9s. Okay, we have an 8, an 8, a 9, and a 9. All right, then 10, 12, 14. All right, median's the number in the middle here. So how many things we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So what we're going to do is we're going to have to go in 6 on each side. 3, 6, 3, 6. The median is going to be the average of 8 and 8. So it's 8. The mode, this thing is actually multimodal. It is multimodal. It has modes of 5, 8, and 9. It's 3 different modes. All right, now let's make sure we got it right. The calculator will tell us everything but the mode. It will. We go to stat edit. Push everything into list 1. I'm going to do one variable statistics. Make sure I have no typos. All right. So everything's in list 1. It's under stat, calc, one variable statistics. There is no frequency list, so you don't need to have anything there. Go to calculate. All right. So this says that my mean is 8, which is cool because it matches my median, but the mean is 8. Standard deviation will be sigma 2.97. Sigma of x is population mean. S subscript x is sample mean, which we don't really do in Algebra 2. We don't. You'll do that next year, but we don't do that in Algebra 2 per se. We always look at sigma. Let's see here. First quartile is 5.5. See if we got our median right. We did. It was 8. Third quartile was 9.5. I know I kind of glanced through that quick, but there she is. And it doesn't tell us the interquartile range, but it does have the max and the min, and we got those right earlier. Interquartile range is the range between 5.5 and 9.5. And it represents the middle 50% of data. It's called the IQR because it covers the 25th percentile through the 75th percentile. It's a good measure of central tendency. It is. It's a very good measure of central tendency. Now we're supposed to do a box and whiskers plot. All right. We're just gonna make a number line. She's gonna go from 3 to 14. The middle, the median is 8. The first quartile, halfway between 3 and 8, is 5.5. The third quartile, halfway between 8 and 14, is 9.5. And that's where we draw our box. Okay. Put a bar there for the median. That's 8. The mean is also there, but then the whiskers just talk about the extremes. I don't know if I can pull this up real quick. I'm going to pause real quick, and I'm going to try and show you kind of like the only times you've ever seen them. I need to put it in your notes too. So probably the only time you've ever seen like anything like this that refers to you is when you get testing data back. I haven't seen it come back this year, but at some point in time, you're going to get back your results from last year's geometry test. We got them back, but I don't guess you guys have gotten them back yet. And there will be a box and whiskers chart on that piece of paper. And they will show you the interquartile range. This is where 50% of all students lie. Okay, that's what that means. 50% of all students lie. Somewhere between roughly a 78 and a 93. And usually what they do is they put a little dash and you're on either side of it. And they say, that's you. Well, that means that you're above the median. Maybe not above average, but you're above the median. That's what it means, above the median. Now, sometimes they'll go ahead and they'll put another little line in there and they'll indicate that that's the average. And that's what you want to be above, right? You want to be above average, not necessarily the median, but above average. Okay. But of course, we do also use medians as middles to some degree. They're called a measure of central tendency. Anyways, I need to incorporate that in the notes. Not doing 2. Let's do one of the regressions. Let's do number 2, just so I don't get bugged about it. Table shows percentage of females in U.S. labor force at various times throughout history. The x-axis is the years after 1900, so this goes all the way to the year 2000. And then the y-axis is the percentage. It is telling you to do a linear regression equation, and obviously I'm going to take this a step farther just so I can make sure you get taught stuff. Like we're going to look at the scatter plot and stuff like that. So let's go to Stat, Edit. X is in list 1, Y is in list 2. I have typos, don't I? It's annoying. I hit the keys, but nothing happened. Happened there. All right, so a couple of things I need to do first. I have to remember to turn diagnostics on. So I've got everything typed in. It looks right. I'm going to go to second 0 for catalog. Get that matrix key to drop me down to the D's real quick. I'm going to scroll down to diagnostic on, just so that I can see the R value. I'm going to press enter. That turns it on. I actually want to look at the scat plot. This is beyond the instruction set. I'm going to go to second Y equal. I'm going to turn plots on. Mine were already on. The type needs to be the first one unless I want to look at histogram. And then I'm going to do a zoom 9. So you can kind of see why the instruction set says write a linear regression equation. Can't you? I mean, it couldn't be exponential because it's going to peak at 100%, right? That would be the upper maximum. But I mean, even all men don't go to work. But it's definitely a linear relationship. All right, let's go to Stat, Calc, Lin Reg, number 4, linear regression. Just for spits and giggles, let's store the regression equation just to walk you through that again. Go to vars, y-vars, function y1. Scroll to calculate. And you didn't have to do that, okay? But there's a reason I'm doing it. For one, to make sure you know how to do it. And 2, I might use it. That's why. Anyways, I was supposed to write an equation. I was supposed to interpret the slope. That's a hard part for some kids, using words. Let's go out 3 decimal places. It's a line. 0.435, that's A, then X, plus the y-intercept, 7.557. Interpret the slope. The slope is 0.435. And what it is saying, it says on average, 0.435% more women enter the workforce yearly. It's supposed to be more. So 0.435% more women enter the workforce yearly. It increases by 0.435% per year. I don't know why I'm saying, yeah, because this is percentages already. So that's staying a percent. Find the residual for 1980. Now, a residual is the difference between what your model predicts and what actually happened. So 1980 is a year, right? We're going to let X be 80. So the Y value, when I plug in an 80, is not going to match the table. It's going to be 0.435 times 80 plus 7.557. And this is one of the reasons why I've also got something in Y1, because I want to show you how to do that. And I get 42.357. Now, the residual is the data value. It's the absolute value of the data value minus this guy right here. The absolute value doesn't matter. It's 42.5 minus 42.357. Now, I'm pretty tired, but I'm pretty sure that's 0.143. It seems legit. Now, one of the reasons you might want to stick something in a graph is because you can hit second trace value. See, I've got that line there. And if I hit second trace value and it's done graphing, it's going to say, what do you want X to be down here in the corner? I'm waiting for it. Still waiting for it. See where it says X? I'm going to let it be 80. And it would have returned a better number because it wasn't rounded. It got 42.322 or 323. A little more accurate. And then I could have done the subtraction there. And I would have got a more accurate answer. All right, find and interpret R. I've got that up on my screen right here when I did the regression. It's 0.9954. That means there is a strong positive correlation between time and the percent of women in the workforce. There you go. Not hard, really not. All right, let's do a couple of these. Identify the type of sampling: cluster, systematic, convenient, self-selected, simple, random, or stratified. Let's look at 6. Miss Julie estimates the student body GPA by randomly picking 15 students from each grade level and averaging their GPA. So she selects 15 from each grade level. I probably should have worded that differently. Because what she's done is she's separated into grade levels, so I need to actually change this one up. I'm going to fix that problem, but I'm not going to do it in the video. It's not worded properly. Oh, yeah, it does. She randomly selects. Okay, so what she did is she divided them into groups, and then she randomly picked 15 from each. Got a little off on there. That's stratified. Stratified, we divide into groups, randomly pick. Let's see, number 8, Miss Hazelwood stands outside her door with her megaphone and asks how students are feeling today. That's going to be convenience, isn't it? And that is exactly something that she would do. Number 10, a company selects every 10th customer that has used a coupon and mails them a survey. This makes it systematic, but will everyone reply? The answer to that is no. It's still self-selected because I have to walk to the mailbox and I have to actually pick up the survey. I have to complete the survey and then I have to walk back to the mailbox and mail it out. Sorry, it ain't systematic. It's self-selected. And that is your 11.3 part 1 homework, I think. I don't think there's anything else in there. There's not.